Okay, so today we are going to be talking about discernment. Discernment, how to identify it, how to generate it. That is from a follow up from yesterday where we were talking about why discernment is more important than experience. How, when people are looking for experience, actually discernment they are looking for, they just don't realize it. I explained it back there in the video just before this. I'll leave a link in the description. So, um, now, discernment. Um, I'll first begin by how to generate discernment, then I'll explain how to identify it. Yeah. So how to generate discernment? The only way I truly know how to guarantee its generation. The other ones they're like talents, just like gifts. The person that receives it, the person that has it will not really know how to sustain it. By the time he loses it, he may not even realize he has lost it, and he most definitely will not be able to regenerate it. But I'm going to tell you how to generate it from scratch, even if you do not have it. And there's only one way I know. There are two elements that can guarantee the generation of discernment. Of course, discernment always comes from curiosity. Basically, it comes from curiosity, inquisition, investigation. But all those things are like it's when you're interested, when you're curious. But this element I'm going to talk about will guarantee discernment, even when you're dealing with someone that's actually trying to deceive you, even when you do not know you're being deceived, even if you are blindly following these qualities will guarantee that you discover, you discern in the midst of the midst of the deception, even when you do not realize. You understand. Normally, you begin to investigate when you suspect. You begin to pay closer attention when you suspect. In this, what going to teach you now, even if you 100% believe in what you are doing and it is deceptive, you will realize it with this particular quality, and that quality is faithfulness and fruit. Faithfulness and fruit. It has to be, the two have to go together. Now I explain. If you are faithful, you cannot possibly be deceived. Because let's say, for example, I meet a fake guru, a fake master. That's the first reason I'm following him. Why I'm going to be faithful to him, because he pretends to be great or to be knowledgeable or to know what he's doing. So I begin to follow him blindly. Yes, I'm following him blindly. Following him blindly, if I was just following him blindly and foolishly, I'll be messed up. But if I follow him blindly, faithfully, I do every single thing he says I should do, the way he says I should do it at the time he says I should do it, I cannot possibly be deceived by him. It's only a matter of a very little time before I'll discover who he is and be set free. You know why? Because if I do every single thing you say I should do and it doesn't work, then I know that the problem is not from me. It cannot possibly be from me. It is from you. It means you are not what you say you are. Because I did every single thing. Where doubts begin to come is when I did not do what you said, or I did not do it the way you said I should do it. Then I begin to doubt, oh, maybe it's because I did not do it properly that it did not work out. But when I am sure that I did it exactly the way you said I should do it, in the same spirit, in the same manner, then it is 100% you. So this one not only gives you discernment, it gives you certainty. Faithfulness gives you certainty. That's why there are places in the Bible where it was mentioned. Okay, I didn't make my introduction, but no problem. It is mentioned. Faithfulness gives you certainty. You know exactly what you're dealing with. And then when I have discovered you for who you are, if I am true, and I did not deceive myself, I did not let my ego, that's of maybe my ego of not wanting to admit that I allowed myself to be led by a fool, and begin to tell lies and try to cover up your foolishness so I can cover up my pride, so I can sustain my pride. If I am faithful and I am true, those two elements will set me free. And I'll know exactly what I'm doing, because now I am faithful. If my faithfulness make me see exactly what happened, and my truthfulness help me to voice it out, not to deceive myself and not to deceive others. So I'll become a light to others. I'll become a light to myself. I'll know exactly what happened, and I'll reveal exactly what happened. This is why in the book of Revelations in the Bible, I told you everything I'm doing is from God. I learned it from God. And it is God's way of doing things. That is what this channel is about. It's God's version of things. So everyone that is seeking God is invited. I know that I see it seems more and more that in the West they get very, very offended just at the mention of God. There's nothing I can do about that. If you don't want to listen to it, it's okay. But it's very valuable information. At least to me, at least I think so. So yeah, faithfulness and truth. That's why in the Bible, the book of Revelation, where they're describing God, the person that comes, they say he saw a rider on a white horse. His name was called Faithful and True, and fire was coming out of his eyes. This means that the light is coming from inside of him. He is the one producing the light. So it is that why he was called Faithful and True. Now you wonder how a farmer could have known that when even all the psychologists in the world do not know it. That those two elements, and it was so precise. That is the God equation. That is how to guarantee the generation of light, to guarantee discernment, faithful and true. It is beyond deception. Even when it itself does not know what it is doing, it will still discover what was actually happening without even trying to investigate, just by being faithful. When you are faithful and you are true, you don't even need to investigate. You don't need to be sensitive. You don't need to be careful. You don't need to be alert. You don't need to be woke. You can be faithful and true and be infinitely foolish, and you will still discover, you will learn every single thing about every single thing, because you know exactly what every single thing is. Because you are faithful. If you go into engineering and you do it exactly the way your master told you to do it, you will know if it worked, if it did not work. You will know exactly at what point in time it broke, because you did exactly the way it was supposed to be done. So you know which elements of it did not work, which one we need correction. By the time you correct it, you know your ego is not involved. So you do not how do I say it? For example, you do not favor you do not favor your own stupid ideas over somebody else's intelligent ideas. You do not do those kind of things. You are faithful. So you call a spade a spade. His own idea was better than yours, you admit it, then you'll be willing to implement it or incorporate it into yours. But by the time you put in the ego and you are unfaithful and you are dubious, then when you see someone's idea is better than yours, you begin to try to squash it. So you squash it in order trying to profit yourself. So you end up with a lower quality product for the world, and the better quality product has been destroyed. But if you are faithful and true, you take the element that you can take, admit it, give him his due credit. If they ask, you say it is him that produces. So the person, the real original person that really knows how it was done, is actually the one that is doing it. So nothing can go wrong with faithfulness and truth. Because the person that really has the expertise is the person that will be called upon. You admit that this is just you just discovered it. You have someone in the background. So but if you're dubious, by the time you want to push him aside and come, and then you be doing lower quality work, you diminish the quality of the product, because you don't really know the nitty-gritty of it. So faithfulness and truth in anything, in any endeavor, you discover exactly what that thing is, and you'll be certain about it. If you are faithful and true, you follow the due process exactly as it was said it should be done, everything will come, all light will come to you. So faithfulness and truth is the guarantee of discernment. Investigation and other things, those ones will work when you are alert. But faithfulness and truth will work even in your foolishness. Even if you go insane, if you can maintain faithfulness and truth, you always know what you are doing. So that is how to generate discernment, faithfulness and truth. Then I'm thinking, should we go into how to? Okay, yes, that should be enough for today for this video. Because if I'm to start going into how to identify discernment, the video will get longer. It will get into 20 minutes. I don't really want that. I want to limit the videos to 10 to 12 minutes as much as I can. So that's for today. Tomorrow I'll discuss how to discern, how to identify those who have discernment. So faithfulness and truth is how to generate discernment, how to guarantee discernment. And then, yeah, so that's it for today. My name is Funom Zock-Sock, and I started this channel so I could teach God's view on things, God's perspective on things as He taught me. So right now, we've been going through stages. We spent over a decade teaching me moral corrections. Now we're on social corrections. So what I'm doing here is what I like to call social systems re-engineering. We have re-engineered the moral, aspects, and I'll go into them once in a while because I have to list certain foundations for the social side to be understood and corrected. So now we're dealing with social corrections, social fixes, social systems engineering. Physical corrections, I cannot really go into them or explain them from God's perspective, God's version, because I can't see it clearly. It's like a shadow, it's like I see it from afar. And thank God, thankfully, I'm clear enough to know that what I'm seeing is more likely to be what it looks like than what it is. So I avoid God's version of physical things and God's version of God's technology that is more further away. So those two things, I will stay clear of them as much as I can. I may need to go into physical things a bit, but I will try to just make it on the surface. But social things, we are good. And that's what we're going to be dealing with mostly. Moral things, you can ask any question you want in the comments according to, and I'll try to answer it either in the comments or I'll make a video about it. So, like I said, my name is Funom Zock-Sock, and it's nice to meet you.